So we'll have a seat, kind of check in with our bodies and minds and all that good stuff. So once you find your comfortable, steady seat with your straight, aligned spine, make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Take a deep breath in through your nose and a big exhale through your mouth. Close your eyes and just take this opportunity to check in with your body. So feeling each and every part of your anatomy, inside and out. Start deepening and slowing down your breath. So Ujjayi breath is always preferable if you can. And then just start noticing any thoughts, any emotions, and also take stock of how your energy feels. And then let's go ahead and bring palms together and we'll set our intention for practice. So whatever it is that you most need from this next hour, be clear about it and chances are you will receive it. When you are clear about your intention, take a deep breath in. Big exhale through the mouth. Relax your arms, roll your shoulders back a couple of times. And then go ahead and transition onto hands and knees. Let's do a couple of cat-cows just to loosen and limber the spine. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to round. And of course, you may throw other movements in. If you need some lateral stretching, anything at all that feels good, we're just kind of loosening up the spine here. And then go ahead and take a child's pose on your next exhale. From child's pose, we'll scoot forward into one nice long spine lengthening sphinx. So you guys know the drill on this. Your glutes should be relaxed. Your shoulders should be relaxing away from your ears. And your chest is pulling forward. And then take your first downward facing dog. Planting your hands, spreading the fingers, reaching the tailbone up and back. Feel free to pedal the feet a little bit if you need to. And then just really focusing on lengthening your spine. Once you really feel like your spine is lengthened, be very mindful about pressing your heels down towards the mat. And slowly walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent this first time. You may keep your knees bent the whole practice, but for sure right now, because we're just going to dangle and ragdoll. On your next inhale, come all the way up. Reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Step back with your left foot. Just hold your lunge for a moment. And as you're holding the lunge, really be mindful of not just hanging out here like, oh, I'm getting ready to practice. This is practice. So making sure perhaps that your hips are dropped as far as you can and that your left heel is pressing back while your right knee is pressing forward. So you're feeling this in the back of the right thigh, front of the left thigh. The hips are getting a good stretch. And then go ahead and drop your left knee down. Arms are going to come up and overhead. Pelvis tilts. Hips move forward. From here, bring your palms together, and if you can, rotate, revolve into a prayer twist. So remember, the idea is not to get lazy and hang out in this left shoulder. So right now, my prayer hands are by my right armpit, and I'm hanging on my left shoulder. Very bad idea. I'm going to push into my palms and lift my chest up away from my right thigh, and twist and look over my right shoulder. Now I'm feeling it not only as a revolution in the spine, but I'm also feeling it in my right hip. So try and get to the point where your prayer hands are closer to the center of your chest. And then release your hands down to either side of your right foot. Fully extend your right leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Let's say hello to that right hamstring. From here, we're just going to take the right knee back to meet the left knee. Those of you taking full vinyasas, you can start taking them now anytime we move into child's pose. Those of you sticking with me, child's pose it is, just for a breath. And then scoot forward into either Sphinx or Cobra, whichever one feels better in your body. And then downward facing dog. Remember, once you get those hips pressed up and back, I want you to very actively press the heels down. It doesn't matter if they touch the ground. In fact, if your heels easily touch the ground, scoot your feet back a tiny bit so that they don't, so that you're actually reaching the heels down. And then let's go ahead and step forward with the left foot. Just like we did on the right side. I want you to not just hang out and think of it as, you know, like yoga purgatory or limbo. You're actually working here. This is the practice. The hips are sinking. The left knee is pushing forward. The right heel is pressing back. We're already really trying to get into sensation in the hips and thighs. Right knee drops down. Arms are up and overhead. Pelvis tilts, ribcage lifts, hips are moving forward. So we're feeling that stretch on the front of the right hip. From here, if it feels okay, palms come together in front of the heart. We're going to prayer twist to the left. Remember all those little cues from the other side. Don't hang out on your right shoulder. Push. Push against your thigh. Push into the palms. You want to lift your torso away from your left thigh as you look over your left shoulder so that you're maybe even getting a little bit of this in your left hip. Hands on either side of the left foot. Fully extend your left leg. Flex the ankle and toes. Really get into that left hamstring. And then go ahead and step forward to a standing forward bend. Hold your forward bend for a moment. Make sure it's initiating from your pelvis. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Step back with your right foot. So you're back in your lunge. Take the opportunity to maybe go a little deeper here. If you need to modify, please feel free to drop the right knee down and the series will look just like we just did. If you can work a little deeper, we're gonna hold the high lunge. Bring the arms up and overhead and allow the hips to sink. And then bring palms together, revolved prayer twist. So you're looking up over that left shoulder, still trying to get the torso away from the thigh. Hands on either side of that left foot. Gaze forward so your back stays flat and neutral, and begin to extend the left leg. Remember, it's okay if it doesn't go all the way straight, that's fine. Just trying to get a little bit deeper into your left hamstring. From here, take it back to child's pose. Remember, those of you doing regular vinyasas, off you go. If you're in child's pose with me, scoot forward into either Sphinx or Cobra. And then downward facing dog. And you know, I'm going to tell you to lengthen your spine and press those heels down. Step forward with your right foot. Give yourself the opportunity to sink a little bit deeper here. Remember, if you need to drop your left knee to modify, you can. Otherwise, we are coming up. Arms are up and overhead. Pelvis tilts and the hips are sinking. Palms together in front of the heart. Prayer twist to your right this time if you can. Pushing into the palms so that you can get your torso up away from that right thigh as you twist and look over your right shoulder. Hands on either side of the right foot, gaze forward, and begin to straighten that right leg. Remember, it may not go all the way straight, that's okay. We are looking for sensation in the back of the right thigh. Go ahead and step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead, and as you exhale, palms together in front of your heart. Okay, so I did tell you at the beginning of practice, if you have tight hamstrings, that you might want to block. So you could grab that. I'm going to go through this first time using mine just to show you how to use it. If you have more flexible hamstrings, you don't need a block, so don't feel like you have to have one. What we're going to be working today is revolved triangle in multiple variations. So it's all about revolution. Join the revolution. So we're going to start in a warrior one, but you're going to want to go ahead and hang on to your block if you've got one, if you're using one. So I'd like you to step your left foot back with the heel flat, bend your right knee, and it's really important, square your hips off with the front of the mat. So if you've ever had a challenge balancing in revolved triangle, part of it has to do with the hips. We have to be really mindful. In this case, right hip is pulling back, left hip is pulling forward. If you do have a block, put it in your left hand, please. Arms are up and overhead, regular warrior one. Hold this for a couple of breaths. Now we're going to be going into humble warrior. If you're not using a block, interlace your fingers. If you have a block, just grab the block with your right hand, squeeze the shoulder blades together, Fold forward, take your right shoulder to your right thigh, relax the neck. This is a great position to make sure that that right hip is pulling back, left hip pulling forward. You're gonna come up about halfway, maybe more. Straighten your right leg. Pull that right hip back, left hip forward. Now, if you're using a block, it's in your left hand. Your right hand is gonna come to your hip or your waist. It is imperative, trust me on this, that your block be right outside your right foot. If you're doing it to the inside, you're cheating and you'll never get any better. So if you already feel wobbly or precarious, widen your stance a little bit, not lengthening it, but widening it, right? If you're using a block, your left hand is on the block outside your right foot. If you're not using the block, your left hand is either on the foot, outside of the foot, or it could be on the shin. And your block can be at any height, by the way. So I'm just kind of showing you this for a good modification. Now from here, I'm going to continue to lengthen my spine forward, not take my arm to the ceiling. I want to revolve. It's about the revolution. So we're going to revolve, revolve, revolve until it feels like that right shoulder is vertically stacked over the left. Then, if you feel like you can, right hand goes to the ceiling. So this is Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolved triangle. Take one more breath. And then just come back up, full on warrior one, bend that right knee. Step forward, palms together. All right, so, and we'll be doing it more than once. So if you did use a block and you don't want to next time, that's fine. But if you used it on the right side, let's go ahead and use it on the left. So you'd be hanging onto your block in your right hand. We're gonna take right leg back, left knee bends, really focus on rotating the hips. So this is the place where you decide where your feet need to be to get that forward rotation of the hips. Left knee bends, arms are up and overhead. So warrior one, first you're finding your strength and your stability here, right? You're also making sure those hips are beautifully aligned. Then, if you have a block, you're just gonna grab the block behind your back. Otherwise, interlace your fingers. Let's fold forward, humble warrior, left shoulder to left thigh. Neck relaxes, arms reach up and overhead. Now, from here, we're gonna come up about halfway. Straighten that left leg, lengthen the spine. And then here we go. Right hand with the block is outside your left foot. If you're not using a block, your right hand is on your left shin, your left foot, or outside of it. You're not allowed to go on the inside. From here, left hand is at the waist. We make sure left hip is pulling back, right hip is pulling forward. Then we begin the revolution. Viva la revolution. Take your left arm up to the ceiling if you feel like you're vertically stacked. If you don't, keep working on revolving and then float the arm up. Go ahead and come all the way back up, full warrior one. Step forward, feet together, palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, back down. Step straight back, downward facing dog. Feel into your hips. You might notice things are starting to change. Now, from here, we're going to take the right leg up into the air, bend the knee, and roll the hip bone open for a moment. And then I want you to take your right leg underneath you, but it's going to be straight. So if you flex your right ankle, you're on the outside edge of your right foot, it's underneath you to the left. You're going to slide it up towards your left armpit, and that's different for everyone. And then let your body self-adjust, but slowly lower down. Maybe you can get onto your stomach. Maybe you can extend your arms out, palms down like a T. Maybe you can grab your right foot or ankle or calf with your left hand and perhaps turn your head to the right. And what does it look like? It's like a revolved triangle on your stomach. Take a couple of breaths, really trying to have at least the right leg very straight. Notice how your torso and your hips are revolved. Hands under the shoulders. Go ahead and take that right leg straight up and back. Bend the knee and roll your hip bone open again. Now, if you have knee issues and you need to modify, do whatever works for you, but we're gonna swing the right leg underneath for just a moment for pigeon. If that doesn't work for you, just come onto hands and knees for a moment. We've got one more place we're going after this. So take a couple of breaths, letting that right glute stretch a wee bit more. And then what I'd like you to do is come up onto your hands. Now, I like to use my left hand to help my right foot. You may not need to, but what I'd like you to try, and remember you have a block if you need to use it, is to go ahead and extend your right leg out in front of you, and you'll be in the preparatory pose for a front split. So if you're super flexible and strong, and you're feeling spunky today, you're welcome to take the arms up and allow the body weight to eventually get you into a split. If that's a bad idea, then don't do it. Take one more breath here. The idea is major stretch in the right hamstring. You should be feeling that. And then let's go ahead and take the right leg back, downward facing dog. Take your left leg up in the air, bend your knee, roll your left hip open towards the ceiling. Take your left leg underneath you, but it's straight to begin with. Flex your ankle, slide the foot up towards your right armpit, and lower yourself down onto your stomach. If you can, extend your arms out to the side like a T. Maybe you can grab your left calf or ankle or foot with your right hand. Maybe you can turn your head to the left. Again, it's like a revolved triangle on the ground. Hands under shoulders, left leg goes straight up and back. Bend the knee, roll the hip bone open again. This time we're swinging left leg underneath for pigeon. That left knee is bent, the right leg is sliding back. We're just here for a couple of breaths. Now you know what you're in for, right? And then come up on your hands. Again, feel free to use your right hand if you need to help extend that left leg. And the idea is to come into a split prep. Prep meaning you're not all the way in it unless you can easily do the splits, in which case, please be my guest. If you feel strong enough, keep the legs active and take the arms up. If you don't feel strong enough, please support your weight. And then we're going to take that left leg back and go straight into downward facing dog and stretch. Notice how your hips are feeling. And then walk your feet forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. So we're going to take a moment and balance, and we have a couple of different balances, and then we're going to go back into revolved triangle, so you'll have the opportunity to do it again. All of this stuff is kind of helping to make it so much easier when you do it the second time. So our first balance, you are welcome to use a strap if you would like. but you don't have to. You can just grab whatever you can reach on your leg. It's going to look like revolved triangle, but we're standing up. So it's revolved hand to foot pose. We're going to start standing on the right leg first. I'm not mirroring you, sorry. So I'll be going one way, you're going the other. So you're going to stand on your right foot first. And here's what I'd like you to do. Grab your left leg or foot with your left leg totally straight. And you need to be vertical. So if all you can grab is your pants, that's cool. Thigh, calf, foot, doesn't matter, right? Nice straight leg so that your hamstring is stretching. Then I want you to take your left arm out to the left, and you're going to start to bring your left leg across your body to the right. Maybe shift your gaze over your left hand. Left foot comes back down, roll your shoulders back. It's not really a very easy pose, is it? All right, stand on your left foot. So if that was challenging for you, that's fine. It is a challenging pose. So grab, remember, whatever you can reach with a straight leg. Maybe you're hanging onto your pants, maybe it's your calf, maybe it's your foot. But you want your right leg really straight. Lift your chest. Take a moment, let that hamstring stretch out a little bit. And take your right arm out to the right and take your right leg across your body. And then if you feel like you can, shift your gaze to the right. Bring that right foot back down and roll your shoulders back. Woo! Feet together, palms together at the front of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up halfway. Exhale, back down. All right, we're gonna step back with our left foot. Spin that heel flat. Prepare your stance for warrior one. And if you need to use a block, grab it. Arms are up and overhead. So full on warrior one, taking a couple of breaths to make sure those hips are squared off. I promise you, having squared hips makes the balance of revolved triangle easier. We're going to go ahead and straighten the right leg here. Readjust those hips, lengthen out. If you have a block, it should be in your left hand. Lengthening over a very straight right leg. Then, if you're using a block, it's outside your right foot. If you're just using your left hand, it can be on your right shin, on the foot, or outside of it. Those are your options. Lengthen your spine, start with your right hand at your waist or hip. And then begin your revolution. Once you feel like you're really revolved, then float the right hand up. If you can, you're shifting your gaze up towards your right thumb. Come all the way back up, warrior one. Step the feet together, palms together. All right, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold all the way forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. This time stepping back with your right foot. Adjust your feet for warrior one. Get yourself set. And then come on up, full pose. So warrior one. Making sure those hips are rotated forward. So the front of your pelvis should square off with the front side of your mat. Then from here, we're going to straighten that left leg. By the way, if you're using a block, it should be in your right hand. We're going to lengthen forward. Left hand comes to the left hip or left side of the waist. Right hand or block is outside your left foot. If you're not using a block, your right hand can be on your shin or on your foot. Lengthen your spine and begin to revolve. And then if you feel like you can, you float that left hand up towards the ceiling. Come all the way back up, warrior one. Step your feet together, step your palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, back down. And then from here, hands and knees. Wag your tail a moment. Those of you doing vinyasas, that's where we're headed, so do your thing. The rest of us are moving into child's pose. And just take a moment as you're in child's pose. Notice the difference in your hips. Scoot forward into Sphinx or Cobra. So we always think it's all about the hamstrings, but the revolved poses are really amazing for the hips too, and the inner thighs. You're actually getting a lot going on. And then downward facing dog. Really reach your hips up and back. And then walk your feet forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. All right, so we have one more balance pose, and it's different, yay. So you guys are quite familiar with half moon, which is similar to a triangle, but with a leg off the ground. There is also a revolved half moon, Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. That's like revolved triangle with a leg off the ground. Now, some people actually find this easier. So I'm gonna plant that seed. You may use your block here if your hamstrings are tight. So you know in half moon, it's usually same hand and foot down. In revolved half moon, it's opposite hand and foot down. So let's get into it. You're gonna be standing on your right foot first. Your left hand is gonna come down torso distance in front of your right foot, and your left thumb lines up with your right big toe. Now, if you can't get your hand to the ground with your right leg straight, use your block, right? That's what it's for. If you can, here we go. Left leg extends into the air, and your right arm begins to reach up towards the ceiling. Here we go. It's time for the revolution. Revolve your half moon. Bring that left foot back down. Come on up. Roll your shoulders back. Hopefully that went all right for y'all. And then we're going to go the other way. So you know you can use your block if you need to under your hand. This time we're standing on the left foot. So the right hand is going to come to the ground, torso distance in front of the left foot with the thumb and the big toe aligning. Your right leg is going to extend out behind you. Lengthen your spine and begin to revolve. Left arm is reaching for the ceiling. And bring it all back down. Come on up to standing and roll your shoulders back. Woohoo! You joined the revolution. Nice. So feet together. Palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up halfway. Exhale, back down. Moving back onto your hands and knees. Arching around the back a couple of times. Cat-cow stretches. Anyone who wants a final vinyasa, this is your opportunity. The rest of us are going to take that final child's pose because, yay, we deserve it. Feel into your hips. Notice how everything's feeling. Scoot into either Sphinx or Cobra. And then downward facing dog. Make sure that your feet are far enough away from your hands that once your spine is lengthened and you press those heels down, they're not quite touching. So I want you to get this final, not only spine lengthening benefit, but also hamstring and calf lengthening. One more breath. You can walk your feet forward and have a seat in Dandasana. Find your sit bones. Probably feels pretty good to sit down after all of that. Just kind of take a moment, activate the legs, straighten and align your spine, and just check in with your body, your breath, your mind, your heart, your energy, and even your intention. And then let's just put the hands on the floor on either side of the thighs because I don't want you to grab or reach for anything yet. We're just gonna lengthen our torsos out over our thighs. So let your torso do the work. Don't grab with your hands. Just keep reaching your chest forward. Keep your feet very active. And then come on up. Keep your right leg straight. Bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Now you can grab if you want to. Reach out over your right leg. Just keep your shoulders down your back. Don't let it be a neck compression thing. Take a couple of breaths. You might notice your right hamstring feels pretty pliable about now, which is fantastic because wherever your hands are, I'd like you to keep them there and raise your very straight right leg up. Now I'm actually going to turn around while I'm doing this, just so that you can kind of see. So you want to have a really straight right leg. Now you're going to keep your left hand wherever it is, and it might be on your thigh or your calf. That's fine. If you feel like you have the balance, rotate your right hand behind you, and you'll notice yet again the revolution, right? Very much like a revolved triangle, but it's a revolved heron. If you don't feel steady, your right hand can be on the ground, and that's fine. Take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll go ahead and bring that right leg back down. Pick your left foot up and bring it across your right thigh, left foot very flat, left hand behind you. If you can, go ahead and get your right arm outside that left near thigh, kind of like we did for prayer twist, and look over your left shoulder. If that's not an option, then you can just hug your left near thigh. So you're looking over the left shoulder. Take a couple of breaths, nice deep twist here. Your spine has had lots of revolving, and so this should be pretty easy, kind of like all the hamstring stuff should feel pretty easy. Go ahead and rotate back around, extend your left leg out, wiggle. Make sure you're still connected to your sit bones, and then bring your right foot to the inside of the left thigh, and lean out over that left leg. This time you are welcome to grab your calf or ankle or foot if you like, but keep your shoulders away from your ears. Wherever your hands are is great. Let's go ahead and bring this left leg up. Try and keep it straight. Lift your chest. So just like we did on the other side, we're going to turn it into a revolution. If you can, the left arm just reaches behind you, but if you don't feel steady, you can put that left hand on the ground. So whatever works for you. Look over that left shoulder. So this is revolved heron. And then just come back around, put your left leg back down, pick your right foot up and bring it across your left thigh with your right foot flat. Right hand behind you as you come into your revolved twist. If you can, that left elbow maybe hooks outside that right thigh, but if that doesn't work for you, don't force it. And then unwind, extend both legs, give them a little wiggle. Come into a nice wide V. So your hamstrings and your inner thighs have been getting a lot of work. We're just gonna capitalize on that for about 4 breaths. You guys know the drill on this. Your spine should be straight, chest lengthening forward. Hands can be behind you. They can be in front of you today if you'd like to have your hands on your shins or your feet. You do whatever feels good for you and just breathe. So we're just trying to lengthen forward. Imagine that every breath is taking your throat closer to the floor. And then come on up from that, bring your legs together, give them a really good wiggle. And just like that, you get to roll onto your back, hug your knees in, and rock side to side. So we're gonna keep the right knee hugged in, extend the left leg all the way out onto the floor. And then without touching the right leg, like hands off, extend your right leg completely straight. If it doesn't point up, point it forward, make it completely straight. Once your right leg is completely straight, grab whatever you can comfortably reach without having to lift your torso up. Keep your right leg straight. Now, once you get it, just apply a small amount of pressure towards you so that you're feeling it again in the hamstring, but don't let your knee bend. And then just like we did in revolved heron, wherever your arms or hands are is perfect. Keep your left hand there. Your right arm is going to open out to the right, and you're going to keep the entire right side of your torso, arm, and hand stationary. The only thing that can move is your right leg and your right hip. Slowly begin to bring it across the body. The goal is not to flop over and have your right foot on the floor. In fact, that's kind of a cheat. If you're super flexible, your right foot would be higher up, closer to your ear, but we don't take it to the floor. So I want you to keep the back side of your rib cage on the right side flat on your mat, back of the arm, back of the shoulder flat on the mat. And that leg is slowly coming across the body with the leg very straight. 2 more breaths. So for those of us that are a little bit tighter in the hips, this is pretty exciting. Come on back up, hug your right knee in, big squeeze. And then all those things I told you not to do, like don't lift your shoulder, don't lift it. Okay, now that's all off the table. We're just gonna turn it into a yummy twist. So you're gonna hook the toes of the right foot inside that left knee or thigh. Right arm opens out to the right, and now it's no rules. Just go ahead and twist. Whatever lifts or moves, let it. We want to be really relaxed here. So still a revolution, right? But this time, we just let the body self-adjust and we let things start to soften. You'll notice that the one that we did just prior to this, taking the straight leg across the body, looked a lot like that standing balance that we did. It also looks a lot like revolved triangle. So it's all about the revolution today. Bring your right leg back up, hug the knee in, bring your left knee up to meet it. You're welcome to rock side to side. And then keep your left knee hugged in, extend your right leg all the way out. And then hands off, fully extend your left leg. So if you do it with no hands, it keeps you honest, right? We just have these ideas of where our leg should be. So be honest about it. Leg is totally straight and on its own. Then you grab whatever you can reach and pull it towards you, but you don't let that left knee bend. So you get a little bit of a hamstring stretch. And then the right hand is going to stay where it's at. Left arm opens out to the left. Left leg stays straight. Left arm, shoulder, and rib cage stay connected to the floor. Only the hip is allowed to move and the leg. So like if you plunked all the way over, your left rib cage would no longer be on the floor. So be mindful, straight left leg. You're just very gently breathing it over to the right, trying to keep that leg super straight. So you can see it's a lot like revolved triangle or our standing revolved hand to foot pose. Come on back up, hug your left knee in. And now all the rules disappear. Left toes hook inside or behind, right knee or thigh. Left arm opens out and you're twisting over to the right. It's fine if your shoulder blade is off the ground. It's fine if your legs bend a little bit. Everything's fine here. You just relax and soften. Come on back up from that. Hug your left knee in. Bring your right knee up to meet it and rock side to side. And then let's just check and see what might have happened during practice today. Grab the outside edges of your feet and do a little exploring in happy baby. So see what it feels like. How are the hamstrings? How are the hips? How do the inner thighs feel? And then we're going to combine our inversion with our final hip release because you've had a really pretty strenuous practice for this class. So everything from here on out is super gentle. I want you to put your feet down. Big toes are touching, heels are slightly separated. So we're going to be doing some breath-centered movement here. Very gentle bridges with some leg motion. So on your next inhale, I want you to lift your hips up, lifting up into bridge. As you exhale, lower back down. As you inhale, let the legs open. Stay here for your exhale. Inhale, the knees closed. Stay here for your exhale. Inhale, lift the hips, bridge. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, let the knees drop open. Stay here for your exhale. Inhale, the knees closed. Stay here for your exhale. One more round of this. Inhale, lift the hips for bridge. Exhale, lower the hips back down. Inhale, drop your knees open. Exhale and remain here. Inhale the knees back up. And then exhale, drop them open again. And inhale, flatten the back. Hold this pelvic tilt for a couple more breaths. And then on your next exhale, release, let the curve come back in your spine. Begin to extend your legs. Separate the feet just the right amount. Maybe even wiggle your legs in and out a little bit. Make sure your hips and glutes are happy and relaxed. Your spine feels long. Shoulders are relaxed. Eyes are very softly closed. Your jaw is relaxed. Everything feels peaceful. Take a deep breath in. And exhale through the mouth. Let go of all breath control. And as everything just starts to soften and settle, just notice how your whole body feels. Notice that the breath has become barely perceptible. Notice that your thoughts have just kind of dulled, receded into the background, become a little softer as well, maybe even hazy or fuzzy. Notice that the emotions are relatively even. You're neither excessively happy or excessively sad. Hopefully, the prevailing emotion is simply equanimity, calm. And then notice your energy. So frequently when we do a practice that we did today, we bring in, we absorb an immense amount of prana or life force. Prana is that animating force that runs through all of us and every living creature. It's everywhere. And when we do these types of practices, we actually increase and enhance our own prana. And yet, even though we have all of this additional energy, we feel very calm, very peaceful, very equanimous. That is considered the optimum yogic state. You're filled with life, you're filled with energy, and you're very peaceful and calm. Just see if that feels true for you today. And see if you can do that without judgment. So if it doesn't feel true for you, then that's okay. Everything was still done correctly. You're still a great yogi. We're just observing and noticing. Begin to slowly deepen your breath. Start to bring a little bit of movement back to the fingers and toes. When you're ready, take that deeper breath in, spread the fingers and toes. Exhale through your mouth and relax them. Deeper breath in, lengthen arms and legs and torso, stretch. And again, exhale through the mouth and relax. Bend your knees, however that feels best. That might include hugging them in, might not. Go ahead and roll to your right side. And then use your left hand in front of your chest and press yourself up to sitting. So as you come to your nice aligned spine seated position, Let your left hand do whatever it wants. It can be palm up or palm down on your left knee or thigh. You can do a mudra. You can do whatever your heart desires with your left hand. If you're able to do Vishnu Mudra with your right hand, that would be tucking the first two fingers underneath that little muscular pad of your thumb. Then you can do that. So the reason we do this is those two bent fingers rest underneath the nostrils, and it makes it very easy to close left nostril with right ring and pinky finger, and right nostril with right thumb. However, if hooking your fingers under the pad of the thumb feels awkward or painful, you can extend them straight out and put them in the center of the forehead, and that way you're still set up for right thumb blocking right nostril, ring and pinky finger blocking left. We're going to do a true Nadi Shodhana today, alternate nostril breath. We're going to do it as Samavriti, which means equal length, same length. Your inhale and your exhale are going to be the same length. So for those of you that are really used to prolonging your exhale, you're going to have to breathe out a lot faster. We're going to do it as 6-second intervals. 6-second inhale, 6-second exhale, every single time. If that's too long for you, please shorten it. If it feels too short for you, it just means you need to practice, right? We want to control the breath at all levels. So left hand wherever you would like it. Vishnu Mudra, or first two fingers in the center of the forehead. That's the right hand. Take a deep breath in through both nostrils. Exhale completely through both. Breathe in through the left. Breathe out right. Breathe in right. Breathe out left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. And exhale left. Let your right hand rest down. I'd like you to just sit with the eyes closed for a few breaths here. Just normal breathing, just sit. And observe. Just observe everything. And slowly bring your palms together in front of your heart. Take a moment in gratitude for this moment, this one perfect moment that we have to live in. We never know how many other moments we have. The ones that we've already lived are past. This moment, the moment you're in right now, is really the only moment available to live. Right now, right here. Much, much gratitude for this moment. Take one more huge inhale. Big exhale through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, just reminding us to be present, literally to be in the moment. Palms to the lips, reminding us to speak our truth, and palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always be kind, compassionate, and love unconditionally. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.